Today, we're diving into a story that starts with someone doing everything right to protect their family, but ends in a $1 million legal nightmare. It's a crazy situation that really exposes what happens when two powerful legal systems just don't see eye to eye.
So, this whole thing really begins with a promise. You know, the kind of promise you make to secure your family's future, to give yourself that peace of mind, knowing they'll be okay no matter what.
So, you've got this husband, right? And he does everything by the book. He gets a Takaful policy, that's a kind of Islamic insurance, and he sets it up so his wife gets the payout. He does this using something called a Hibah, which is, well, it's basically a gift. In his mind, her future is completely secure. And we are not talking about a small amount of money here. We're talking about a $1 million payout. This was supposed to be her financial safety net for the rest of her life. And then, everything went sideways. After he passed away, a Shariah court looked at it and said, yep, this is all correct, his wishes stand. But then, a secular civil court got involved. It completely overturned that decision. And just like that, poof, the $1 million promise, gone. The widow lost everything he had planned for her. So you can imagine the reaction, right? People were furious. The blame immediately went to the Takaful company. People were online calling them scammers, you name it. But as this quote points out, the real problem wasn't one company or some bad agent. No, the real issue was something much bigger, hiding in plain sight. And that's where we get to the core of this whole mess. A hidden gap between two legal systems. See, the problem wasn't a flaw in Islamic finance itself. It was the head-on collision between religious law and secular law. Okay, so to really get what went wrong, you have to understand this key term, Hibah. It's simple, really. It just means a gift. The husband was gifting the future payout to his wife while he was still alive. Under Sharia law, this is a totally standard, totally valid thing to do. And this right here, this shows you the conflict perfectly. The Sharia court looked at the Hibah and said, of course, the money goes to the wife, just as he intended. But the civil court, it basically ignored the Hibah, treated the money as part of the overall estate, and said it had to be split up among all the heirs according to inheritance law, or Faraid. Two courts, same facts, two completely different outcomes. It's wild. So what's the bottom line here? It's this. Just because a financial product is designed to be Sharia compliant does not mean a secular court is going to understand it or enforce it that way. And that is the dangerous legal trap this family fell right into. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Why did this even happen? Well, it all comes down to how these two worlds, conventional finance and Islamic finance, are built, and more importantly, how the law interprets them. Okay, check this out, because this table really breaks down the confusion. With your standard conventional insurance, when you name a beneficiary, that payout goes directly to them. It's their property, end of story. It's totally separate from the estate. But with Takaful, it's different. The default setting, if you will, is that the payout becomes part of the deceased estate, meant to be shared. That Hibah we talked about, that's the special instruction that takes the money out of the estate and gives it directly to one person. So when a civil court judge, who doesn't understand Hibah, looks at this, they just see the default Takaful rule and apply it. So this all sounds like a huge mess, right? How do we possibly fix this? Well, the good news is people are on it. Experts and regulators are actually working on real solutions to bridge this pretty dangerous divide. So the fix isn't just one thing, it's a few key changes. First up, we need much clearer documents, contracts that a secular judge can actually understand without a Sharia degree. The language has to be crystal clear. Is this person a beneficiary who owns the money or just an executor who manages it? Next, the providers, the Takaful companies, they have to warn customers about these risks based on local laws. It can't be buried in the fine print. And finally, we need better standardized education so everyone understands how these products actually work in the real world, in the legal system they live in. And this right here is the big idea. For Islamic finance to really work and be secure for people, it can't just exist in its own bubble of religious principles. It has to be designed thoughtfully to anticipate and navigate the realities of the secular legal systems we all live in. Okay, so what does all of this mean for you? How do you make sure your family is protected and that what you want to happen actually happens? Let's break down some practical steps. All right, let's go through this step by step. First, you have to understand the specific laws where you live. This stuff can change a lot from one place to another.
Second, and this one is huge, pull out your actual policy documents and read the fine print. You need to make sure the wording says beneficiary or absolute owner, not trustee or executor. That one word can make all the difference. Third, talk to two kinds of experts. Yes, a Shariah advisor, but you also absolutely need a secular lawyer who knows how your local courts will interpret that contract. And finally, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Takaful is a great tool, but it should be part of a bigger estate plan to create layers of protection.
So I'll leave you with this one final thought, a really important question to ask yourself. It goes way beyond just Takaful, really. Is your financial plan built for the legal system you believe in? Or is it built for the one you actually live in? Asking that question is vital to making sure your family is truly protected. Thanks for joining me.